Hello, thanks for watching. True Crime King back with ya. Welcome to the channel. For those of you that are new, I give my opinions and my reactions to anything true crime related. So if that's something you're interested in, I would tap that notification bell and hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. I'm just your average guy that says things that maybe you're thinking or just don't want to say out loud. Thanks for watching, and with that, we'll get on to the video. Okay, Bryan Kohberger has been extradited back to Idaho. The affidavit has been released, so we have a lot of new details. So get your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and buckle up. This is going to be a good one.
Include the previously sealed affidavit, probable cause order, arrest warrant, criminal complaint, and other documents as well. The affidavit, though, is where we are learning a lot more details into what led up to this arrest. Now, though the documents, we've learned that investigators got the DNA sample, this was a key piece of evidence here. The DNA sample came from a button snap of a knife sheath that was left behind.
That's huge. So he left his knife sheath behind, and on the button snap, they got his DNA.
Now, in terms of timeline, we are learning a lot more about that as well. We understand two of the victims, Kaylee Gongalves and Madison Mogan, they went to get food at a place called the Grub Truck in the early morning hours of November 13th, roughly around 1 o'clock in the morning. They came back to the home, and around 4 in the morning, Gongalves apparently was heard saying the phrase, "There's someone here." It goes on to describe a person in there, described as a skinny build, a man who was masked in there as well. Investigators also discovered a latent shoe print, eventually, that had a diamond shape, similar to Van shoes, if you ever seen shoes like that.
Wow, so one of the roommates heard Kaylee say, "There's someone here." So they knew before they were asleep, someone was in that house.
Now, we're learning the suspect's car did not have a front license plate at the time of the crime based on surveillance footage, but that car eventually ended up on campus at WSU, which is only about 10 minutes away from the University of Idaho campus, early in the morning the next day. We're also learning that a WSU police officer did a cross-check on white Hyundai Elantras. Do you remember that search for the Hyundai Elantras? They found that one had a Pennsylvania license plate, which was eventually connected to Kohberger. We've also learned that investigators were able to cross-reference the movement of the Elantra to Bryan Kohberger's cell phone. Now, what's also interesting here, guys, according to the affidavit, is that Kohberger applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of last year, and that he wrote an essay that he had interest in assisting police with how to better collect and analyze technological data.
Wow.
They also confirm, and this was suspicion before, that he posted a Reddit survey asking participants on understanding emotions when committing a crime. Now, through cell phone records, we've learned that Kohberger allegedly visited the victim's home or the area at the victim's home at least 12 times prior to November 13th. We also understand that investigators went back to the Pennsylvania home and dug through the trash to get the father's DNA sample again to make a match. So again, investigators have...
Okay, so they found the knife sheath at the crime scene, so that's how they got Kohberger's DNA. Then they dug through the trash and got his father's DNA and compared the two, and obviously they're almost a match because they're related, so boom. That's how they knew it was Kohberger,
A single source DNA that came from the knife sheath. Then with help from the WSU police, they were able...
And if Kohberger's so smart, how'd he leave the fucking knife sheath behind? You fucking clown.
to identify suspect car, track that, and then substantiate the car's movement.
And now we know he definitely went in through the sliding glass door and out because the roommates saw him.
documents with help from the FBI through his cell phone. So a lot of information just being uncovered right now. So what's going to be happening next? Well, Kohberger expected to be in court within the next...
And how's he going to explain, if he was at that house 12 times before, he could explain his DNA, maybe somewhere else. But he can't explain it on the knife sheath for the knife that killed all 4 of these people. That's evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, and that is a conviction, in my opinion.
Just a few minutes here. PC documents are also going to reveal possibly a motive. We're seeing on top of this story, and we'll bring you the very latest throughout the morning. If not, stay with us here on Fox 13, as well as fox13seattle.com. Guys, back over to you.
And as those documents help us fill in the gaps of what happened that night, we're also learning more about the FBI investigation into Kohberger himself.
Yeah, they actually tracked him all the way to Idaho from Pennsylvania, asking police to pull him over twice. So Dan Griffin joins us live from the newsroom here. Dan, we're actually getting a look at the body cam footage from those traffic stops from Idaho to Pennsylvania. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. And those made a big difference here. New details reveal the FBI surveillance team was seeking video images of Bryan Kohberger in his hands, looking for any injuries. That's according to a law enforcement officer who spoke to Fox News. Now, Kohberger...
So, they did ask police, the FBI did ask the police to pull Kohberger over twice. So now that has been confirmed. They were looking, and that's why he didn't give them any tickets or anything. They were just trying to look at Kohberger's hands to see, or his face to see if he had any injuries. Wow, a lot of stuff coming out now.
And his father were making their way across the country, from what we understand, from Washington State, headed to Pennsylvania. Kohberger, obviously, is a teaching assistant and PhD student at Wazoo's Department of Criminal Justice. His father flew out to Washington State to ride with him to their home in Pennsylvania for the holidays. And as the two continued toward their destination, police in Indiana stopped them twice on December 15th. Now, the source who spoke to Fox News said investigators were still building a case to make an arrest. They said genealogy played a big role. We'll stay with that here for just a second, because I'm going to bring that back up here in just a moment based on those documents Bryan was just talking about. Kohberger says since been charged, obviously, in the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students in Moscow on November 13th. But at that time, as the case was being...
Look how dirty that car is. I mean, would he go off-roading? Look at that thing.
Built, these traffic stops proved important in tracking their suspect. During the stop with Hancock County, Indiana Police Department, the father and son discussed an incident with the officer describing a SWAT team killing an armed man in a standoff near Wazoo. Take a listen.
Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating.
So yeah, the police officers just trying to sell it, to, just make an excuse as to why he pulled him over. But this is an example of how the police can just pull you over for anything, you know what I mean? But now we know they were following him, The FBI asked these cops to pull him over. But if you're accused of killing 4 people, I don't have any problem with that. You know what I mean?
So okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh, okay.
All right, so the 2 traffic stops gave investigators a closer look at Kohberger. They also gave a better idea of where he was at the time.
Look at that guy. What a clown. Let's look at his hands. I don't know. What's that right there where my cursor's at? It kind of maybe looks like it could be a scratch or a bruise right there. I don't really see anything here. But I'm sure he had gloves on. And it's hard to tell on this hand. And we know he had a mask on, so it would be hard to, scratch his face if he had a mask on and leave any marks. But, yeah. Wow. A lot of good info.
As the case was coming together. Now,
and Kohberger realizes now he's fucked. You know what I mean? The reason why he wanted to go back to Idaho so fast is to know what evidence they had against him. Well, he knows now.
At the time of the stops in Indiana, he and his father were more than 30 hours away.
Look at his dad's teeth. You got to brush your teeth, man. Come on.
More than 2,000-mile drive from Pullman. And this morning he's back in Idaho right now in court, going to be facing a judge there. But these documents here that we've been reviewing, Bryan and I, this morning, really paint an interesting picture here talking about DNA. They mentioned genealogy being a major thing here. Well, according to this, as we were saying, in December, they were able to go through some trash. They were able to get evidence there to get this DNA checked and sent off to a lab in Idaho. And it says at least 99.998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded, except for the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. So they've been able to really work hard to piece these pieces together. Obviously, we're going to keep going through these documents.
Yeah, a lot of good new information. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, True Crime King, out.